We need a full independent investigation into who was trading, who made money, who knew what, and when they knew it. You know, the American people have a right to know that policy is being made only with their interests in mind and not the individual financial interests of people in the Trump administration or Trump family.
Fortunately, this became a cash and carry White House. Over and over again, we see evidence of self-dealing and efforts to improve your bottom line net worth with the policies of this administration. I think it deserves the closest scrutiny.
Those statements coming as more than a dozen U.S. Democratic lawmakers call on the U.S. securities regulator to investigate Donald Trump. Now, on the morning of April 9th, as stocks were sliding by as much as 20% in the United States, Trump posted on his social media platform, Truth Social, quote, "This is a great time to buy." Hours later, he announced a 90-day pause on hefty reciprocal tariffs for most nations, sending markets skyrocketing for the rest of the day. Okay, a lot of people made money, and for more on the speculation around that market-moving news and possible insider trading, we're joined by Steve Hanke. He's a professor of applied economics at Johns Hopkins University. It's good to see you. Thanks for coming on our program, and this is a kind of fascinating topic in many ways. What exactly did President Trump post on April 9th, and why do you think it has raised eyebrows among lawmakers, mostly Democratic?
Well, it was kind of a, shall we say, a heads up on what you should be doing with your portfolio. But I think we have to put all these things into context. This is going on for a long time. It's strictly a bipartisan thing. Everyone knows that the politicians are, in a sense, in the United States, as well as in most countries, by the way, to some extent, insiders benefiting off inside information, and it's kind of, as they say, crony capitalism. But it's a bipartisan thing.
Yeah, I guess
this is not a Trump thing. I mean, Trump makes it a little more transparent, shall we say?
Okay, I think what you're getting at is many lawmakers go in and they may be worth $1 million or whatever. And then when they leave office 30 years later, making $179,000 a year, they're worth $40 million. But I want to dig in, however, to this social media post, because I think that what Democrats are saying is this is simply flagrant, that Trump's tariff comment, which was universally heralded for influencing the markets, driving them up dramatically that day, is this market manipulation, whether intentional or unintentional?
Well, as someone who's testified in many court cases, an expert on market manipulation, I can assure you it's extremely hard to prove.
Okay, talk a bit more about that.
We can talk in generalities and the political sphere, but if you get in a court of law and try to prove market manipulation, let me tell you, you got your work cut out for you. It's a tough thing to prove.
Okay, so the Democrats are clearly off and running, trying to hold Trump accountable for what they consider insider trading. But Congress is controlled by the GOP, and as you mentioned, it's very difficult to prove this in the courts. Is this going to go anywhere?
Oh, I think the rhetoric will continue. There's no question about it. I mean, look at Trump and his associates, and blatantly what they're doing. I mean, his son-in-law, for example, Jared Kushner, and all the tie-ins and so forth, all the Mar-a-Lago crowd. But this is nothing new. It's just more blatant.
Okay, more blatant. Is there?
Right. This is absolutely nothing new whatsoever. And the only way to control it, by the way, would be to pass a law, which Congress is never going to pass, that all political appointees that have to be approved by Congress, as well as all members of Congress, will have no discretionary ability to move their portfolios one way or another once they're in office.
Okay, so now,
that's the end of the story. But it's never going to happen. And by the way, we're talking about Trump. Look at President Biden.
yeah, I hear what you're saying, but I really want to stick with just this, what we're talking about now, because of the tariffs, because of the information, because of this record high. Is there any reason to think that the regulators or ethics officials are going to look into this? And Democrats want tariffs postponed. Is there even a chance that's going to happen?
Well, Senator Grassley from my home state of Iowa, has proposed legislation which would pull the executive powers back into the Congress with regard to the tariff issue, and essentially reduce or water down the ability of the president to use executive powers to impose tariffs, which I fully support that legislation. I hope it passes.
But what are the chances?
I think they're pretty good.
Really? Okay, interesting. Okay, now how could this situation impact investor confidence and the perception of the U.S. market fairness? Because what you're saying, I think many people here in Washington have known for years and years and years, but the people in the U.S. and especially an international audience, they may have their jaws on the ground thinking, wait, what are you telling me that it's just okay for Congress members to have insider trading and make millions?
Well, I think the markets have known this for a long time. I mean, look at Joe Biden. He was in politics all of his life. We know what the salary of a U.S. senator is, and how in the world did he accumulate the fortune that he accumulated? Explain that.
Well, I mean, you could look at Mitch McConnell, you can look at Bob Dole, you can look at a million different lawmakers who did that. And I think it's a very good question. And maybe one day people will have the nerve to reach out and focus on it. But who knows? This may be the impetus to make people say enough is enough. We'll have to wait and see. Steve Hanke, thank you so much for your insight. We greatly appreciate your time.
Thank you, Sean.